Okay, it's Andrew Trey's Carstairs outfit, and Trey decided not to come to be the character at the front, so it's me, Bob Frizzell, playing the part of Trey Carstairs. Now, if you watch some of these videos of Trey, it might have been easily 6 months ago that we did Trey Carstairs on this channel. Trey's story was he was working very hard and he was making minimum wage, and some of these contract jobs he was working on, it wasn't even really minimum wage. It was just contract, do this, and he would do it as fast as he could, delivering things like papers. And what he did, he also had a bottle of booze with him, and he was pretty much using the booze to medicate himself. Okay, so uh, now what else do we want to say about Trey Carstairs? I don't think there's anything else to say. I just wanted to remind you of Trey Carstairs, and do you know people like Trey that are just delivering newspapers? And if you talk to them, it's not like why do we look down on people that are delivering newspapers? If they're a teenager, we don't look down at them. But if they're an adult working like this, somehow we think, you're more capable of doing something with yourself than delivering newspapers. Or maybe is that just me and it's one of my judgments? Looking at people, I remember going into the Hotel Vancouver, hoity-toity hotel, especially back in the day, maybe the 1935 or something when it was first built. A beautiful lobby where they always had a grand piano and a piano player would play at the supper hour. And they had the nicest public washrooms in all of British Columbia. You could go in there, and they had wicker bins with really high, it was high end paper toweling. Well, you couldn't even buy it at the store. It was very high end, really nice, and it was open to the public, not just the guests. So you could go in there, have a leak, and then wash your hands in beautiful marble. I mean, the washroom was just like a palace. It was fantastic. And they actually sprung for these incredible, soft towels for you to wash or dry your hands with. So there was a story I remember. It wasn't the Hotel Vancouver, but it reminded me of the Hotel Vancouver, of somebody who was perhaps an immigrant and who worked as a janitor in a building, let's say. And the same building, there was the CEO of a great corporation. And every day, when the CEO came into the building, he said hello to the janitor. Uh, I don't know. I'm not going to go too much into that exact story. I'm just going to say, good on you, Mr. CEO. You actually consider the person who's cleaning the building to be worthwhile. I don't think they do, actually. The CEO might give them a friendly nod, and over the years might, come to know that the guy's name is Mr. Jones or whatever. But you know, I don't think the Mr. CEO ever considers what it's like to be the janitor of the building. Now, if you look at the studies that say how many more multipliers the CEO makes than the average worker in a corporation, I don't know, 24. 24 times as much as the average worker in a corporation. And maybe for some CEOs it's way more, but let's go with 24. So for 24 janitors, no, average workers, a janitor makes minimum wage. So what does the CEO make? Well, I can't even figure it out. If a CEO of a corporation makes, I don't know, $1.5 million a year, and the janitor makes $24,000 a year, okay, I'm Trey Carstairs. Um, okay, it just comes to me that, okay, I got a friend. His name is, we're not going to say his name, but he really is flustered by this talk. He's very flustered. I don't understand why he's flustered, but I know there are people, when they hear these kind of stories, they get really wriggly gum, wriggly like a worm, wriggly like a field, wriggly like a snake, wriggly like rigged bids, wriggly. Yes, it's rigged bids. Bid rigging is what a racketeering influenced criminal organization does. RICO are the statutes in the United States. And what has it got to do with this talk? Well, it's also, well, I'm not going to talk about that. Let's talk about it. It's Kundalini, which is supposed to be a quiet, asleep, snake like energy that's asleep in your tailbone. And if you meditate for a very long time, this snake energy, also known as a feminine energy, Shakti, rises up your spine, up into your head, and comes up and around into the front of your head. What's it got to do with this talk? If you've got two gold oak leaves as your insignia in the U.S. Army, you are known as a major. You're not a lieutenant or a lieutenant in the British Army, and you're not a general. You're a major, and you're basically you're frustrated. Majors are exceptionally frustrated because you really don't get command of the unit until you're at least a lieutenant or lieutenant colonel. It's kind of a rank that's just very frustrated person because you're an officer and you're not a second lieutenant, first lieutenant, or a captain. You're a major. The next step up is lieutenant or lieutenant colonel, and then full bird colonel, and then brigadier general, and then, general, but a low level general. So a major is a very tough rank to hold. What's it got to do with this story? Um, I'm not sure where we're going with this story yet. I'll come back. Okay, I took a break and I came back. And all I can think of to do is to add another pair of. These are actually 3D glasses from the movie theater. There you go. Planet Earth is basically a place you come to. It's a transition place. It's where you come for a short stay and Meet Joe Black, the movie. Anthony Hopkins in the movie trailer says something about life. Isn't it something? It's gone in just a blink. I don't know where Trey Carstairs went. The character was real to me at one time. He's not coming back. At least not today. I'm never going to be able to figure out why it is that CEOs of corporations make unbelievable amounts of money. And janitors make minimum wage. Paper boys don't even make minimum wage. They get little tiny contract, deliver so many papers. Does planet Earth have a heart? I guess I'm done. I can't say it in words, but my opinion is, all right, in words, there is no heart on planet Earth, at least among the ones who decide, who has lots and who has nothing. A great deal of judgment goes into deciding, you know, in my company, how much I'm going to pay the janitor and how much I'm going to pay the major and how much I'm going to pay me. The whole point of it is it's an ego game. There's no heart in ego. It's a very low vibe thing when I'm talking about this kind of an ego. It's a weasel. It's a weasel. If you are watching this, I don't have anything else to tell you. That's my opinion of the way this planet is run. It's run by weasels. Weasels are running this planet, and they don't have hearts. In the end, one of my friends wanted to remind me. One time, I think it was the subway in Vancouver, and I looked over, and there was a young person in their 20s, and they had a pet weasel, and they were petting their pet weasel, and they loved their pet weasel, and their pet weasel loved them back. But when I'm talking about weasels that run the planet, the corporate hierarchies, the one percenters, the Jeffrey Epsteins, and all the people who help him fake his death. I know what you are. You're not pretty little pet rodents. You're demonics. You're demonics. You have no love in your heart. You're in a human body, but you're not human. You're just basically what we used to call rats, vermin. People used to get a 22 rifle, varmint rifle, and they'd shoot you because you were vermin. your philosophy of profits over people. It doesn't have any love in it. Planet Earth is a training ground. You have an enormous gamut of different kinds of people on this planet. They all look like humans. I'm never going to be able to tell you, but if you need somebody else to be in your life, you got a problem. You have a problem because you're looking for something outside of you to give you some validation. Now that you've come to the conclusion of this little talk, are you going to wonder, why do I bother talking to this camera for potentially people to watch? When I say, if you need someone outside of you, you've got a problem. The word is need. You need something outside of you to give you validation. You don't need validation from any external source. You don't need it. You don't need. All you are is awareness. And then you've got all these other garbages, weasel things, pain bodies, psychic vampires that are all needing things from things outside of themselves, fields of negativity. The CEO of the corporation needs the corporation. Does the janitor need the CEO? Does the major need the army? Does Trey Carstairs, the paperboy, even matter to you? I'm never going to be able to help you because I don't have anything. I'm what's known as a clear channel for the source energies. So I guess the message comes through me from the source. And if you're watching it, it's for you to consider. Thank you for watching. If you get something out of the video, great. If not, it's just art. I do encourage you to go find a copy of Oscar Wilde's book, The Picture of Dorian Gray, and read the introduction. It's all about the nature of art. It's about the nature of who you are. No one wrote a better piece. As for the rest of the book, I personally could never get through the rest of the book. It's the introduction to it. That's the only part of that book that really matters. I can't help you. We live in hell. Hell. If you want HELLP, you're not going to get it from other humans. I mean, you'll get hell. They'll treat you like a client. They'll give you some feigned attention. And they'll expect you to pony up a big wad of cash. It's hell. There's no love in these people for you. Is there any love for themselves? In the end, I can go on and just look at this camera and wait, because it's really the silence that speaks with me. It's the silence that speaks. What is the silence? The silence is the source. What are you supposed to get from my message? Meditate. Find the silence. It will give you everything you need. The silence comes when you meditate. In other words, close your eyes. Breathe. And if you do it long enough, you will reach the silence, and it will be the whole purpose of your human life. That's the only reason you're here, is for you to avoid all the external stimulations. Sit down, Close your eyes and just wait. And if it takes you 12 years of doing this, it's the only reason you're here. What happens beyond that? Are you expecting a book to describe what happens to you once you reach the silence? There are books. But if you really want to become something more than just a person who reads novels, you got to do the work yourself. You're going to have to sit in silence. I'm movie producer Bob Frizzell.